Hey everyone, it's Jason. Welcome to Time Rift, a collectible card game. This is a history card game that is a spiritual successor to Anachronism, which is a history channel game, which I really love. So what it is, the idea of it is you're playing as various warriors from throughout history, and then you have your loadout cards with them, so they have weapons, armors, inspirations, special cards, which can be just about anything anything. They can be other weapons, other armors. They could be tomes. Your inspirations can be quests, events, deities. We have all different types of armor, helmets, shields, torso armors. Weapons can be just about anything: swords, knives, daggers, bows and arrows, all different stuff, guns possibly. So the idea is you're competing your history character against it. Who would win a battle? Miyamoto Musashi from Japan or Spartacus from Rome? Or are we going to have, Black Bart the Pirate versus Robin Hood, or we might have, King Arthur versus Cleopatra. So not only is that a fun concept, but the fact is that you can also mix and match your weapons. So I can take Napoleon Bonaparte, I can give him some Norse armor, I can give him a Chinese weapon, he can have an inspiration from a Greek god while trying to complete a special objective like totem from the Mori culture. Again, against like Achilles from Greek, who could have a Japanese katana with some Egyptian armor on, like an Egyptian headband or something, a bangle, with a Mongol special cavalry horse, and have some inspiration from, the Lady of the Lake from Britain. So yeah, it's really cool. So you're not just fighting warriors, but then you can mix and match their different cultural, like weapons and items and stuff, and have some really unique battles. Now, this again is a spiritual successor from Anachronism, which came out many years ago. It is the core concept of the game is the exact same. The idea, how it plays, virtually the rules of the overall game are unchanged. There's very minor differences. The difference coming how they upgraded and implemented the game. Probably after looking at, almost 10 different sets being designed, what they could change and upgrade and add for new stuff, as well as other games that have come out in the last, how many years, that they could add to it. So we're going to do in this video is we're going to do a playthrough. I'm going to do a full game playthrough with 2 setup characters. So I have all the setups kind of identical, just to kind of see how it works. And then we're going to do is play a second game where we're going to kind of mix up their special extra cards to see how the game would play as if things were just in a different order. And then we're going to kind of, either we'll play a third game or we'll maybe kind of look at some interactions if we add some other different cards. Like if I had this champion instead of this one with this item, and we're going to kind of look at that. I will have a link in the description for another video which talks a little bit more about some of the rules and gameplay. It's not full how to play. They have one on their Kickstarter, which is currently going on for about another 20 plus days or so as of this video being launched. So definitely go check that out if you be interested. Also check out their Discord if you want more information there. But in that video, I go over that. I show off a bunch of the preview cards, which are the cards here, as well as I also do a comparison with Anachronism to see how they kind of changed and what they did differently. So if you want more information with that, that's that video. This is more of a gameplay. So just a few other things before I jump into this. One, I am not affiliated with either of these, of Anachronism, History Channel, Time Rift, or any of that stuff. I have nothing to do with them. I've not been sponsored by them. I've not been asked to create this. This is me as a fan doing this because I really loved Anachronism growing up. And then this Time Rift I heard about, I'm like, dude, I'm excited for this. So I wanted to do this. I saw some people like, I would love to see some gameplay. So I thought, hey, I know how to play the game. I can print and play my own cards, so I can do this. So that's the other thing. I did not get anything special from the company to print and play. So they didn't send me some special things. These are images I pulled off. So some of them are going to be kind of blurry or black and white pictures. I apologize for that. But I'll try and do my best to show off cards and kind of see what everything does. And explain those. Now, with that also being said, I did not go to Gen Con and play a demo or anything. I did not. Also, I have looked through the rule book. And again, it's basically the same as Anachronism, but I might mess up rules. So it's very possible I could screw something up, or I might miss a timing effect or something. Hopefully not, because unlike, if we kind of look at this, unlike most traditional card games, you have a bunch of cards in your hand, you have a deck. You don't with this game. We have an Anachronism board on here. So on the bottom here, we have our loadout cards. You have 4 cards each. So each deck will have 5 cards. You'll have your champion, warrior character, and then 4 other cards. It could be a weapon, an armor, an inspiration, and a special card. There are some cards that allow you to break those rules, but those are typically how that will be played. At the beginning of the game, you will set your cards down in the order you think you want to play them, and then each round you'll get to reveal 1 card. So it's kind of like a pre-constructed deck. You already know what you're going to play in what order, but you don't know what your opponent has. But you don't have generally the ability to adjust on the fly. Again, there's always cards that break rules. And it's played over a course of 4 rounds. The idea is you're battling your champions. They each have, so if we just grab 2 of our champions here, we're going to play as Miyamoto, Masashi, and Spartacus. So up in the top corners, they have their initiative amount. This is the initial amount that's going to say who gets to go first. So Miyamoto will get to play, he'll be the first player, so he'll get to, He'll just start the game. And then if there's any ever ties or anything, this initiative number on your champion decides who gets to play first, or who wins the tiebreaker. If they ever have the same amount, then you have to roll a die. Then the next thing, a little red one, is your health. So Miyamoto has 9, Spartacus has 10. The lightning bolt is your actions. This is how many things you can do during your turn. Your actions will consist of moving your character around the board to try and position to attack them, or playing attacks with your base character, which is your attack grid here, or using items or weapons you have to attack, or using special abilities on your items or your cards. So it's really cool. Then on the other side, we have a little ball, spike ball, and a shield. The spike ball is how much damage your base attack does, and the shield is how much inherent defense extra you have. Some lots characters have 0, some will have some. Then in the corner, we have different elements, which will play into different cards. They'll say they involve different elements and stuff. This right here is your attack grid. This will determine how you attack. Wherever that red arrow is, the numbers are the spots you can attack in. So if I have Miyamoto here, and I have Spartacus here, I'm going to zoom in quick, kind of just do a little tutorial here for the attacking before I jump into the game. It's going to say that Miyamoto can attack here with no bonus for a 0. He can attack for here and here. If I zoom out just a little bit more, for +1 to his attack dice, +0, or he can attack here for +1. So if Spartacus is in here, here, or there, Miyamoto can attack him. If he happens to be right here, he cannot attack him with base not direction. On the other hand, Spartacus can attack for any of the 3 spots in front of him. So in this exact situation, Spartacus is at the advantage. But Miyamoto on his turn can rotate using an action point. And if he does, now he has points here and here. So he can attack at that diagonal angle. So yeah, moving around the board is going to definitely be advantages to whether you can attack or dodge, make your opponent have to spend extra points moving around trying to catch you. It might just depend on what your basic attacks are, what your moves are, and things like that. Alright, so then the next thing we have on here, we have the bottom line, we have a champion, what type of card it is. We have their region, Asia versus Europe. There's other different countries. These are just extra keywords that are going to trigger off of certain abilities. They're ones that might specify a champion or an item card. They might, or a weapon or an armor. They might specify a region. They might specify the culture, Japanese or gladiator. And then every single champion will also have a rift color. Now the rift color currently, silver and blue are matching the border of the cards, but that's just a coincidence almost. But there'll be things that'll reference those as well. And then they have their actual abilities in there and what they do. So we're just going to go ahead and start, and as I reveal cards, I will show what they do. So at the beginning of the game, each player comes into the game, and they're going to take their warriors, so the other player doesn't know who you have, and they're both going to reveal them. Whoever has the higher initiative gets to go first. So their advantage is the lower player has to place their card first on the table. So if I'm playing Spartacus, I'm going to place them here. And you have to place them facing towards the other player. So then my advantage is I get to go second. So I seen that he has that, and I know that if he just moves straight forward 2 spaces, right here, he can attack me in one of these lines. So I might want to avoid that. Where are my better spots? My better spots are going to be on these 2. So maybe I'll place myself here. So if he moves here, he could still attack me, but I also have an attack on him. So yeah, I'm going to place my character there. And that's how it just kind of, every character's going to have a different amount of things. Some guys might attack further up, some might attack further back. So that's some cool stuff there. So that's round 0. So that's before we even start. So if we look at what their cards do. Miyamoto says, this champion may use 2 one-handed sword cards this game. So this is already him being able to break the standard deck building rule. But I do not have that. He does not have 2 weapons in this deck. Whenever an enemy hits this champion with a weapon, move 1 space. Then this champion gains +1 attack value on their next attack this round. So if he takes damage, he gets to move, kind of reposition himself, hopefully get a better attack out of it, or at least maybe get out of your opponent's way. And then he gets an extra +1 die. So when he rolls dice to attack, he gets +1 value to that. Spartacus, on the other hand, says, gain +1 base attack if there's a revealed sword card in this champion's loadout. So at the beginning of the game, he might not do anything unless he reveals a sword. Gain +1 defense value if this champion has revealed a shield card in their loadout. So he's going to gain bonuses for having that shield. So, alright, so let's play our 2 characters down. So we played them like that, beginning of the turn. Then we're going to go to spot number 1, and we're both going to reveal it. On spot number 1's down here for this player. And we're going to flip both of them over. So what I did though is I put both the same cards. You have weapon, then armors, then inspirations, and special cards. So they're kind of competing against each other. So they're playing similar. So now we look at each card. So who gets to actually go first this turn? Spartacus has a 7 initiative. So he gets to take the first turn versus the 4 for the Boken. So what does each card do here? So at the top, they're going to have a cost. This is how many points it costs, action points it costs to use that. So it's going to cost them 1 point to attack. You can only use an action once per turn. So once you've attacked, you have to deplete this card by turning it sideways to show that you've used it. Let me back up even just a little bit more here so we can kind of see the board a little bit better. But you have to spend at least 1 action point to either move or attack or rotate every turn or use an ability. But other than that, you don't have to use the rest of them. So I have 4 points. I could take one thing. I could be like, I'm going to hang back and just sit here and wait for my opponent to come to me. That is always a possibility. But remember, you have limited rounds. But then here, it's going to have a different attack grid. So now if I want to compare him to Spartacus. So now Spartacus normally wants to be in one of the first 3 spots. But here, he can still attack one of the first 2, but he only gains an advantage in that middle one. But he does at least have an option of attacking on the left side as well. So it gives him a little bit extra different ability to attack with. But if he gets right in front of his opponent, he's going to be able to attack with both ones very advantageous, I guess. And then the weapon also does 2 damage. What else does this weapon do? So it's a Europe, Roman, and a utility. It has 1 hand. So you obviously only hold 2 hands worth of weapons. So if you have 2 swords, for example, if you ended up playing with someone that gave you 2 hands of swords, you couldn't play a shield. If you're playing a 2-handed weapon, you also couldn't hold a shield that takes 1 hand. So yeah, it does kind of limit some of your deck building. Gain +1 weapon attack value as long as this champion has moved this round before attacking with this weapon. So if he moves first, he's going to gain a bonus with this. So if he sits in the 1 spot right in front of his opponent and just keeps attacking, he doesn't gain that bonus. So alright, we'll put that one back down. And then we'll look at the Boken. So this also has 1 cost and it has attacks on the left to right. So now if we compare that to Miyamoto's here quick. So again, he's going to gain in the front he can still attack, but he's either going to get a 0 or a 1. But now he can attack on the side. So now he can attack with both of these cards. He can attack along that entire ridge around him. So it gets him a little bit more attack range, whether they're pluses or not. So there is that option with him. Also does 2 damage. His says Weapon, Asia, Japanese, and Sword. 2 Boken cards may be used this game. Again, I only put in 1 because that's the starting loadout has. But you have the option of using 2. Whenever this champion attacks with attacks and misses with this weapon make a free base attack against that defender. So if I miss with my attack, I get a free base attack. So I get a potential to do at least 1 damage anyhow. So you can kind of see the differences in the weapons there. So, alright. So Miyamoto gets to go first. So his ideally thing is he has 4 points to spend. He wants to get within attack range. So he can easily go 1, 2, 1, 2, and he can attack, if we again look at his card, space in front of him and a space to the right. And he does have a +1 there. So now I have 2 options here, right? So I have 2 points left because I moved twice. Every time you move, it's 1 space, you have to move up, down, left, right. You cannot move diagonal. But every time you move, you can also do a free rotate. So I could rotate him this direction if I wanted to. But he has no attack bonus right there, so that doesn't help me. But I could rotate him and attack with my weapon. Which now, so if I face my weapon this way at the right arrow, I do have a +1 there. So I have 1, 2, I could use my 3rd point to do this, but I wouldn't get a move again, or I wouldn't be able to do a base attack because he's not there. If I leave him turned this way, I can do my base attack, but I wouldn't be able to use my weapon. So that is kind of the trick, though, is what is a better option to do? Do just the base attack or do the weapon attack? The weapon attack obviously makes more sense. The other option I do have, though, is right now Spartacus can attack me from right there. So does that make sense for me to attack with that? No, it does not. So what makes more sense to me to do is this. Spend 1, spend 2, spend my 3rd action, and then rotate. So now I can attack in front of me. I would have also had the option with him, as he does have a double space in front of him. If I got right here, I could have moved 1, 2, moved here, and done 2 basic attacks. And Spartacus would then have to move at least 1 space to attack me. That is also a possibility. I could potentially do that. Now, if I did that and I hit with both base attacks, I would get +1 damage. I'd do 2 damage to him. Or again, I could move with my weapon and try and just do 2 straight damage to him, which is what I'm going to try and do. So we're going to space 1, 2, 3rd one, and a free rotate. Or you can always just spend 1 movement point to rotate. So then I'm going to spend my 4th point, which is my 1 coin here, to go ahead and attack with 1 space. It has a 0 in front of it, so I don't get any bonuses for that. Alright. So then we're going to see. I don't think he had any extra effects on his card. So whenever he hits his champion with a weapon. Okay, so we don't care because I'm not being attacked right now. So what I want to do is we have our dice. We have to have 2 sets of dice. So I have the attack dice are going to be the black and red. The defense dice are going to be white and yellow. Now, these are not the ones that come with the game. These are mine that I'm using actually from Marvel. So the defender rolls first. So they're going to roll 2 dice. And I rolled an 8. So now if I have any modifiers, I can modify it. So if I had a defense symbol on here, or if I had any items down here that would up my defense, I could up that number. I don't have anything currently to play or do with that. Now, he does say, if I had a shield out, puts 1 defense by if the champion has revealed a shield. So if I had revealed a shield, I would automatically get add 1, which would make that a 9. So that'd be hard to beat. So now Miyamoto has to attack. He's attacking with his weapon again, which has a +0. Now, if I attack with my base attack, I do have a +1 on his card. So I would have gotten an extra +1 automatically, but I decided to go for the heavier damage. So I'm going to turn my card sideways here to show that I'm using it. I'm going to roll my dice. After defense is played or done all their stuff, then the attacker gets to roll their dice. So they just switch their defenses first. So we have 10. So 10 is going to beat 8. Very simple. So I'm going to do some damage. I'm going to do 2 damage to him from my weapon. So my weapon does show I have 2 damage on there. So we'll go ahead and do 2 damage to Spartacus. Alright, so the game itself, as far as I know, does, unless it's got maybe tokens or something that come in the box, which I didn't see specified, won't come with anything to keep track of damage. So I could use paper or something else. I have some little tiny cubes I'm going to use. But rather than putting them on Spartacus, because I'm going to have to keep moving him all the time, I'm going to do is just set them down here in the corner. And then when I get 10 of them, I'll do it. Now, alternatively, you could do the other way, and I could just place 10 down there to begin with and remove 8. Or remove 2, which might actually not be a bad idea. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So if I would have had 10, I'll take away 2. And then when I have none left, I'll get rid of them. And Miyamoto has the same amount of... He only has 9 health. So down in this corner down here, which you can't see as well, I'll put them over there. I have 3, 6... I'll put 9 cubes. Just to keep track, and I can just pull them away as they take damage. Another thing you could possibly do, and this might be easier for maybe starting players, is, like I have yellow cubes as well. I could use these as my action cubes, which match the yellow lightning bolts. So I could kind of set these down on the table, and you would only really have to have one set per player, because each player only does one thing. But what I could do is be like, you just set them off to the side down here, and as you take an action, I move once, move twice, move 3 times, attack. That would just maybe help keep track of what you're doing. I'm going to do that just to help me out while I'm doing this. So we've done my damage. Our turn is, or the Miyamoto's turn is done. Now it's Spartacus's turn. He has 4 actions to do, which is what his lightning bolt said. So he has a couple different options here. He could try and move around 1, 2, and get out of Miyamoto's way from being able to attack. Because Miyamoto can't damage on this side. Could move 2 spaces. And then he has to worry about, and then Miyamoto has to either spend at least 1 point to rotate and he can move around. And Spartacus has him kind of trapped. Or he could just spend 1 point to rotate and just start attacking. Now, which is the better way to do? If I rotate, that's 1 point. I could attack with my weapon, which would be 2 points. And I could attack, base attack, 2 more attacks. It's 3 attacks. I could definitely do, which is not a bad idea to do. But I think we're going to play a little bit more strategic. And I think we're going to do our movement. We're going to do 1, 2, get our free rotate all the way around. And what this does is it puts him in range of our 2 attacks. So he's going to get +1 roll, right? But also noting that on his weapon, he also has +1 for being in front of him, but it says gains +1 attack value as long as this champion has moved this round before attacking with this weapon. So since I haven't attacked yet, so I spent 2 of my action points to move. I'm going to spend 1 to attack with my weapon. So I'm going to get +1 there and +1 for this ability. So we're going to so I'm going to turn that sideways. So Miyamoto's going to roll his defense. He rolled another 10. Ooh, so that's going to be hard. Now, he has nothing to defend with. He has no defense. He has nothing on his weapons. So Spartacus is going to roll. He needs to beat a 10. He also rolled a 10. So normally that would be a tie. And I would check their initiatives, which Miyamoto has a better initiative. He would win. But because we have a +1 on this and a +1 on that, that essentially makes that a 12. So he does the damage. So he does 2 damage per his weapon. So Miyamoto is down to 7 health. Now we still have 1 attack cube left. We can do a basic attack. So now if I had a sword, I would also get a +1. My base attack would also get a +1, but we don't have a sword currently revealed. That's a utility instead. But we still get our +1 for this. So again, Miyamoto will roll his die. We'll move our action cube over to make sure we realize we're taking our last action. So he rolled a 10. So now Spartacus needs to roll in a 10 or higher. And he only rolled a 6. So his +1 would only put him up to 7. So he doesn't win. But do we have anything that helps him out? I don't believe so. What does Miyamoto's here say? Whenever an enemy... Ooh, we forgot about this. Whenever an enemy hits his champion with a weapon, move 1 space, then the champion gains +1 attack value to their next attack this round. So we forgot about that rule. So let's back up before we did our attack. Because we forgot to do that. So again, I haven't memorized all these cards yet. So we got hit with that weapon. So he gets to move 1 space. So he obviously wants to try and move out of Spartacus's range. But he can't. He can only move one space this direction. So he can move, but he can rotate. So that at least he can attack next turn. Now, Spartacus still has the ability to attack. Because he has this, and he still gets +1 in that spot. So it doesn't actually change what Spartacus gets to do. So that's nice. But now Miyamoto has +1 attack for this round. Unfortunately, this round is over. So that only would have worked is if Spartacus would have attacked him first, which he should have. I actually screwed this up. I did the initiative backwards. He had an initiative of 7. He had an initiative of 4. I was playing with the other direction. But we're going to let it go. We're just going to ignore that I made that huge-ass mistake because we already went this far into the game. Otherwise, I have to reset the entire video. But that's fine. So let's just say that this is what happened. And we're going to re-roll this guys again. So Miyamoto gets to roll. He rolled a 5 for defense. Spartacus rolls a 3. And he gets a +1 for his weapon. So it's only 4, so he didn't do any extra damage. Because he didn't get the 5. Alright, so that was round 1. Now we go to round 2. So beginning of round 2, each weapon gets to unexhaust or undeplete, just to refresh. We reveal our 2 new cards. So now we have a kimono for Miyamoto, who says it's an armor. Because initiative 7, so he will get to go first this time, even though he went first last time. I messed that up. Which has jump. Spend 1 action to move 1 space diagonal. So now this is going to give him the ability to once per turn to jump around the board. Because every time you use a power move, which is any keyword, power ability, you have to deplete the card. But you just use that to move across the board diagonally. Now, unfortunately, it doesn't just say he gets to move diagonally anyways. Otherwise, this should be a fun, more interesting card to combo with other things, but since he has to spend an action, he doesn't get to use it on any move ability. But we'll spend that there. And then Spartacus has the Cassius Chrysia. It says 5 initiative armor, Europe, gladiator, and medium. Reroll, adjust one of this champion's defense dice to 4. So I can always change one of my dice to 4. So I always have a natural 4 defense no matter what. But then also note that Spartacus has the thing. It says if he has a shield, he does not have a shield yet. And if he has a sword, so he still doesn't gain either of those bonuses. And then Miyamoto said. So Miyamoto gets to go first. So we will actually make sure we play this correct this time. So now he can move diagonal. Now, does diagonal help him at all right now? Diagonal would not let him move there, so he could only move here. Now, he can move there and do a basic attack because he has the double spot for his range. He can actually range twice forward, and he could just hit Spartacus with a base attack multiple times. Or he could just move his 1 point to move over here and attack with his weapon multiple times. Now, to also note here, his weapon, though, gains the bonus on the other side. So right now, Spartacus has him at a good advantage. Because for his weapon to basically work, he would need to move into this spot right here so he could attack to the side. Or he could just rotate and attack. But again, the kind of the downside, the way it is, if he rotates to attack, he can hit with his weapon, but he wouldn't be able to hit with his basic ability. So even if he missed, he wouldn't be able to do a basic attack because he's not in range. The only way he's going to really combo is to move into this spot and rotate. So right now his kimono is not really helping him unless he wanted to move one here and do 3 basic attacks, which could potentially do 3 damage to him. But he also has that big armor, so the extra the armor would definitely help. So yeah, there's not necessarily a correct move. You have to do this. Do one thing, might be beneficial, might be bad. You don't ever know for sure. So let's just kind of look at what my options are again. I could move here with jump with my kimono, and I could attack for 3 times. Or I could move here with 1 movement, attack with my weapon once. If I miss, I could still do a base damage, and I could attack 2 more times, which makes more sense to do, right? Yes, although moving here gets me out of Spartacus's way for at least a turn, and he has to spend one more point to move towards me. So that's the other option. So he's basically got to do the extra 1 point of damage with my weapon, or do I do more potentially? I'm doing still 3 attacks either way. So I think we're going to do that. We're going to exhaust our kimono, going to move here and rotate, and we're just going to do 3 attacks straight forward. I don't get any bonuses for them, but at least at least it's going to make Spartacus have to move away from the board and give me more options. Alright, so then we're going to do a basic attack. So Spartacus gets to roll. He has a 5 and a 6. Now, it doesn't... so reroll, I get to adjust one of the champion's defense dice to 4. I do not have to do that. It's an optional effect. There's no reason I have an 11. These dice are friggin' loaded. Alright, so Miyamoto somehow has to roll an 11 to be able to beat this. He rolled a 7, so he does not win this round. Alright, so he missed his first attack. Spartacus doesn't have any abilities that have anything to do with him getting missed by attacks. Miyamoto doesn't have anything either. So we do our second attack. Defense roll, we got a 9. Attack roll, we got a 9. Okay, so we have a 9 and a 9. Again, now normally I'd be like, 9 and 9, except here's the problem. We have Critus, he can turn this into a 4. So that puts it up to a 10. Now he only has 9, he has no bonuses for doing anything else, unfortunately. So again, if I would have been one space further, I had that +1, I would have won. Or I would have used my weapon, but that's what the risk I took was. Alright, third attack. We have a 10. We are rolling very badly with these dice. And we got a 3. So, alright, Miyamoto is doing terrible. He's just missing every one of his attacks. But that is how the game is played. Alright, so now it's Spartacus' turn. He starts over with his four things. He needs to attack, but he wants to attack in front of him. He gains a point extra thing for moving. So he's going to spend 1 point to move and rotate for free. So now he can attack with his weapon. Costs him 1 point. And he's going to rotate that to show that he's using that. He gets a +1 bonus there. And an additional +1 because he moves. So Miyamoto is going to try and block this, hopefully. Oh, so now I roll bad. So we have a 5 for defense. And we rolled a 5. So yeah, 5 and 5 would mean Miyamoto would win because of this. But he has +2 on this. So actually up to 2-7. So Miyamoto is going to take an additional 2 damage. So he's doing very bad. He's at 5 health. Especially bad because Spartacus has 2 more attacks. He does 2 more base attacks. So we have a defense, which is a 10. And we have a 9. But he does have a +1 here, so that would put him up to 10 as well. But Miyamoto has the better initiative, so he gets to dodge it. So we survived 1 attack there. Alright, for then our last attack. Defense is 8 versus an attack of 6, 7, 8. But he has the +1, which puts it up to 9. So he's going to do 1 more point of damage. So Miyamoto is down to 4 health. So he's not doing very well. Alright. Turn 3. Refresh our cards. See what each champion has. So Miyamoto is going to bring the Musha Shugo to the table. Inspiration, Asian, Japanese, and event. Reveal. Attacking champion gains +1 attack value and deals 1 additional damage till the end of the round. So this works for both players. It's kind of like setting up a duel. Like Let's Duel. So yeah, he's going to gain +1 attack value and deal 1 additional damage till the end of the round. So this could be very bad for him. Especially because we have a Scutum for Spartacus, which has an initiative of 6, so he gets to go first. It says Special Europe Roaming, and he has a shield. It says a shield that's not listed in his armor. Once per round, whenever a champion moves into a space in this metal champion's base attack grid, deplete this card and deal 1 damage to that champion. So if anyone moves into where he has his 3 lines on his card here, because he's a metal card. That's his little element up there. He can deplete the shield and do 1 damage to them. So currently, right now, he doesn't need to move, so it's probably not going to help him there. But what will help him, if you look back at his thing, he also has gains +1 defense value if this champion has revealed a shield in their loadout. So he now has +1 automatic defense every turn. Plus, he can turn one of them to a 4. So he basically has 5 defense guaranteed every single turn. Now, for Spartacus's turn, he gets to go first because he had 6. He has his weapon, which does an additional, gets an additional plus attack value if Spartacus moves. Now, there's the thing. He's standing right here. He has no reason to move. He can attack with a +1 value on each of his cards. If he moves, he would have to spend at least 2 movement actions to do that, which ideally you could say he could move here out of Miyamoto's spot, and then Miyamoto would have to spend another turn to rotate, so I'd spend one of his actions. But does it really, so it's kind of that, again, that gamble, is do you turn twice, or move twice, and only get 2 attacks out of it, but now your opponent has to spend extra actions to get 1 less attack, or do you stay right there and just go head-to-head? Also note that this is in play, so the attacking champion has +1 attack and deals 1 additional damage. So he basically has a +2 on any of his current attacks already, and he's going to do additional damage. So if I hit with my weapon for 1 attack, that's 3 damage, and if I hit with any of my other attacks, that's going to defeat him. So it doesn't make any sense for me to waste time moving around. I should just try and beat him as quickly as possible. So we'll spend 1 for our item, or for our weapon. So Miyamoto is going to roll for defense. He rolled a 6. So Spartacus already has a +1 on there. So he has 6, 7. He has an 8 for +1 here and a 9 for there. And he does an additional damage. So he does 3 damage. Great. But now he only has 1 health left. But Miyamoto also has the thing that again says, this champion, whenever this enemy hits this champion with a weapon, move 1 space, this champion has an attack value of 1 on their next round. So what we want to do then, he wants to move. So now, the best thing for him to do is to move back. So he moves back. Now Spartacus has to spend 1 action to move forward. Now, unfortunately, he didn't do a base attack first. And then, of course, Miyamoto wouldn't have moved. He only moved with the weapon. Otherwise, the weapon could have gained a bonus. So he's going to have to spend 1 action to move forward. Otherwise, he can't hit him. But he can spend 2 to attack. Or if his 3rd action to attack. Let's see what he does. You have a defense of 6. That's not very good. +6. Okay, so 6 + 6. Miyamoto would win. Except he has a +1 here and a +1 there. So he has 7, 8. And he's going to do 2 damage. So he's going to defeat Miyamoto. So that is the end of the game. We didn't even get to see the final cards. Let's just take a look at them quick to see what would have happened. So Miyamoto has Goren no Shio, Special Asian Japanese Tome Reveal. All water and wood champions, so he's a water champion, he's blue, move 1 space, and then all non-water wood champions use 2 attack value till the end of the game. So that would have reduced his attack, so he would have taken less chance to hit. And he could have avoided some attacks. Whereas, and sorry for the angle of this card, but it's the best I could get. Spartacus has an initiative 4, so Miyamoto would have went first. And plus, if he would have survived this attack, both attacks actually, he would have had a +1 on the next round, but he still has +1 there. Whether he could have done, 8 damage or not in 1 turn, I doubt it, but that's kind of how this goes. And some of that, the difference might have been because I took the wrong turn first. That might have just completely changed the game. So, Inspiration, Europe, Roman, and Divinity. It says a combo. Spend 1 action, move 1 space, then make a base attack against each adjacent enemy. So now this would have been super powerful for Spartacus with his weapon, right? Because he'd spend a combo to move 1 space and then make a base attack against enemies. So he would have got an extra hit. Then his weapon would have said, as long as he has moved this round before attacking his weapon, he would have got an extra attack value too. So that would have been super cool there. But you can only use that once per round. So, alright, so that was our first game. So I'm going to reset the game up, and we're going to try it just by mixing all the cards and see what happens there. So we're going to reset our life totals back up to 10 and 9. 4, 5, 6, 7. 8, 9, and 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Okay, so then what we want to do is we want to try this. We're just going to shuffle these up. Now, normally you want to maybe strategically plan. You might be like for Spartacus, it might make sense to maybe put his shield out first so he has all that extra defense right away. Or put his armor out first so he gets that. You know, could be various different things you want to do. But I want to do is just try seeing what happens if we just play these in a random order. I don't know which order they're going to go in. Because sometimes you might want to sacrifice. Maybe I don't want my weapon right away. It does give me extra damage, but it's low initiative. I don't want to be able to attack first on my turn, you know. Or maybe you want to be first to act and you want to play a high initiative, even if it's, you know, just a movement card. You know, there's so many different strategies to take. So, alright, so we're going to place both these guys. It's going to be the same thing. Spartacus has to place his card first. He's going to place his back here. But Miyamoto, realizing, he's like, oh, I got to attack on this side. He's like, I'm going to try going straight forward rather than moving way over. Spartacus had played here, he would have been fine. But he's like, I'm going to hit him straight on. But now we just see who actually goes first. And since we've read the cards, I'm not going to hold them all up every time too much. But we have a 4 versus a 6. So he got his shield right off the bat. So if anyone moves within his first 3 spots of Spartacus, they're going to take a point of damage. But he also has his weapon right away. So he can, if he misses with his attack, he can do some extra damage. Here's a little bit extra there. So Spartacus gets to go first. He has his four things. He may as well just move straight forward. 1, 2, right, and then do 2 damage. Now, he could hold back and then try and do some extra messing around and stuff there, but, like, since he has a shield right away, we know, like, hey, he's just going to get straight up in there and do stuff. He gets his extra defense for having a shield, so Miyamoto is going to have to block and attack. So our third action point is an attack, so he has 9. That's not 9. That's 11. Versus 7. So he dodged the first attack. So he's doing a lot better this turn. So we're going to do our second attack. Which would have actually went up by 1, but it wouldn't have made a difference. So we have 10 for defense. And we have 3 for attack. So Miyamoto is, on his second turn, is doing a lot better. Alright. Reset our action points. Miyamoto gets to attack. Now, he has his Boken right off the bat, which gets him a +0 to the front. But it gets him a +1 if he was here. But again, he has +1 there for his base attack. If he misses with his weapon, he gets a base attack. So he may as well spend a point to attack. So defense. So it's a 6, but he gets a +1 here, so let's just up this to a 2. Just to keep track of that a little bit better. Because it does say he gets +1 defense if he has a shield revealed. So he has a 7. So Miyamoto has to beat a 7. And he got a 6, 7, 8. So he does 2 damage to Spartacus right off the bat. So he doesn't get to use the special ability to attack again. But he has 3 more attacks to do. He has nothing else to really do. Now, alternatively, he could move around and try and avoid Spartacus. And do some other stuff. Since he does have a base attack, he could either attack 3 more times and just hope to do 3 more extra damage. Or alternatively, he could go 1, 2, move over there, right, with 2 attacks and only do 1 attack. But again, it's going to then force Spartacus to move. And move again. Now, here's one thing to keep in mind, which I'm not sure if all this works. Because the Scudum says, whenever he moves into a space in this, yes, whenever he moves into a space. So here's the problem. If Miyamoto moves here, he moves into his grid. Because he's already in it, but he's going to move it. So he's going to potentially take a point of damage just for going there. But he could go here, which now would force Spartacus to at least rotate 1 turn. So it's either doing 3 attacks versus 1 attack versus your opponent having 1 less option. So it's kind of tricky on what to do. So I think for now we're just gonna try attacks. Miyamoto's just gonna go all out with some attacks. So we're gonna spend, we're gonna roll. He has the extra defense, so he has 7. We'll put this up to 8. And Miyamoto has to do, he has a 4. He does have a +1, but he only puts him up to 5. So he misses with that attack. So unfortunately that doesn't help us. Attack number 2. We have a 9. We'll again rotate that up. Not a 9, it's an 11. I gotta really learn how to count. Versus a 7. 4, 5, 6, 7. So he's not making any of his attacks. Alright, so now he has this option, right? Actually, he doesn't really have an option. He may as well try and attack again, because if he doesn't, he's going to take 1 point of damage just for moving. And Spartacus can still attack him. So we have a 5, which will up that to a 6. And we have a 10, which ups to 11. So he does 1 more point of damage. Alright. So at least he knocked off a couple of points off Spartacus. Alright. Spartacus's turn. No, he went already. So now it is next turn, round 2. So we're going to reveal our cards. We're going to refresh that. What do we got in spot 2? We have the kimono. So we have an initiative of 7. So Miyamoto gets to go first. And he can diagonal. And then we have Liberus. So again, we didn't look at this too much, but spend 1 action, move 1 space, and make a base attack against each adjacent enemy. Which is a 4. Alright, so Miyamoto gets to go first. Because he has jump with the Komodo, he can spend 1 to jump here. And then get a free rotate. So he doesn't have to land in his spot. That's what I was hoping for. Because now he doesn't have to take that point of damage against Spartacus. Now he could then move, he could move behind him or move somewhere else. The only spot that would make sense for him to potentially move would be here. So he can still attack with this thing to get +1. But then he can't attack with his weapon, because his weapon attacks from the other side. So the Boken's not necessarily the best weapon for him, unless I was including multiple of them, which he could do. So then we have that. So he has 1, he did that. So his second thing, he's going to attack. He's going to attack with his Boken. So he's going to spend 1. He's going to roll defense. Gets him a 4, so we'll up that to 5. So it gets him 9. Versus 6, 7, 8. But he does have a +0 on here. So he doesn't have an extra one with his Boken. So he has 8 versus 9. So he's going to miss. But now, Miyamoto, or the Boken special ability does say, when this attack misses with his weapon, make a free base attack against the defender. Alright, so we're going to do another free base attack. So he only had 6, so I'd up it to 7. And this will be a 2 with a 3, so he missed with that. So his jump threw off his attacking ability, apparently. Alright, so now I do have some options. I could, again, attack him 1 more time, or 2 more times, or I could move him. If I move him here, I can still attack with a +1. But the whole thing is, all Spartacus has to do is rotate 1, like this, and he can still attack all 3 spots. So the only spot that would make sense for me to move would be here, because he gets a +0, but then I take 1 point of damage. So the thing is, he'd still have to rotate. So it's like, do I want to just try and attack him twice, or do I want to take a point of damage because of his shield, but then, have the potential of him. The only problem is if well, yeah, I could do that. I'd still get my +1. So let's do that. Let's take the risk of it. We're going to move 1 to move back over here, and we're going to rotate. No, because then he can just straight up attack me. He doesn't have to rotate or move at all. So no, that's actually a bad idea. I could move back a space, though. That's actually not a bad idea. So let's move back a space, and then, because he can attack up to 2 spaces away, he doesn't get any attack bonus, but at least now Spartacus has to move a full space and rotate, versus just rotating. I guess it's not really a big difference, it's still 1 point, but it does kind of pull him away. It might give me more options. It might also wreck me over. And I used my kimono. I did not use my kimono this turn. I jumped, I attacked. Yeah, so I did. So I should have exhausted that. Alright, so we got 1 attack left. He has, ooh, crap, another 11. These dice do not like me. And a 6. So, alright, he misses his attack, which is, alright, it happens. Alright, then Spartacus gets to go, his turn. He has his 4 points to spend. Now we do again have our combo, which says, spend 1 action, move 1 space, and make a base attack against each adjacent enemy. So he's going to go ahead and spend this combo. Make 1 move and rotate, because you always get a free rotate whenever you move. You're going to make a free base attack. So Miyamoto's going to try and block it with an 8 versus a 5, 6, 7, 8. But he does have his +1, so it's 9, so he does 1 damage. Alright, then Spartacus is just going to attack 3 times. And since his ability only works if he gets hit with a weapon, and Spartacus is not using a weapon, there's nothing to stop him. So we're going to spend our 3 points. We're just going to defense. We have a 5 versus a 9, so that's another point of damage. Another attack. We have a 9 versus a 14. 14? No, it's a 6. Let me learn how 11. So again, he's going to take another point of damage. And then our last attack, which is a 10 versus a 2. So he gets to avoid that damage. Awesome. Alright, so let's hop into rotate everything back. Hop into turn 3. So now we're getting to see kind of the difference of the layouts of cards, how that makes a difference and stuff. Alright, so we have our Goring No Show, which again says all water and wood champions move 1 space. All non-water and wood champions receive -2 attack value. And the Culling a Cutthroat, which gains +1 attack value as long as his champion is moved before attacking. So now he can move with that ability, but all water and wood characters get to move 1 space. Now here's the thing, though, right? Now here's also one thing I'll have to check with the rules. Kind of like with the maybe moving in the same space. If it's only when they move into the full attack grid, or if they move to any part of it. I'm assuming it's any part of it. This also says all water and will move 1 space. It does not say may. So I'm not sure if I have an option or if I have to move. All non-water wood champions, which is what Spartacus will be, loses 2 attack value to the end of the round. So he's not going to be able to hit me as much. Well, I'm assuming I'm going to have to move. So I can move left or right. So I can't move diagonal. But if I move this way, I can still attack. If I move the other way, I can attack with my sword. So either one doesn't necessarily help me. But I think if I'm going to move this way. Because I have potential to go diagonal. If I went this way, I wouldn't be able to go diagonal. So at least I have an option. If I have to take a point of damage from his shield, he's going to deplete that. He has -2 attack for the turn. Now, I can still attack, I just cannot attack with my weapon unless I rotate. Or do I want to just do something else? Yeah, why don't we do this? Let's spend 1 point, and we're going to kimono, we're going to jump here, rotate, and I'm going to have 3 basic attacks. I think that's my best option. My weapon's going to do more damage, but I'm trying to kind of stay out of Spartacus's range. Granted, he can keep moving and doing extra stuff every turn. So maybe I should have just taken the initiative and just... You know what? That's actually probably a better idea. I was here. Why don't we just move 1 here and rotate? We'll whale him for our weapon. It's our second one. So Spartacus is going to defend. And he's got an 11. So great. That's going to be hard to dodge or break. So 5, 6, 7. So we missed that attack. But we get a free base attack because we missed with our weapon against a 10. And we rolled a 5. We are doing terrible. Alright, first base attack. which is going to... Having the shield off right off the bat makes a huge difference. So we have 9 versus 6, 7. And then he would get +1, so you have 8. 8 versus 9 is not enough. So I don't have any attack modifiers, unfortunately. So our last attack, haven't done any damage to him. So he's got 4, 5, 6. Come on, at least do 1 damage. Come on, Miyamoto. 4, 5. So he does 6. So he has 5, he has +1, 6, and 6. So he's going to get to do damage because he has a higher initiative. So we get at least 1 damage that round. Alright. It is now Spartacus's turn. Did I mess that up again? I did. Dang it. Alright, we can back it up. That's a 7, this has a 6. So he was right here. But he moved 1 space because he got his free movement. For his card. That's why I was confused most. So Spartacus gets to go first. I'm sorry. I messed up again. I keep reading my numbers wrong. This is kind of the problem about trying to play dual-handed. It's because I'm trying to focus on both player sides of the table instead of just what I'm doing. So Boken can undo it. So, and this can undo itself as well because that doesn't matter. No, this would still be done because he used it when he moved. Alright, so he has this card. So what he wants to do, Spartacus wants to spend 1 point to do a move and a free base attack. So, defense roll, 5 versus 4, 5, 6. So he would get, so you get +1 on there, so it would be 7. But he also gets -2 for this. So 7, 6, 5. So he's at 5 to 5. So he's going to lose that one. So good. So Spartacus just Miyamoto dodged that attack this turn because of his tome. So alright, Spartacus did move, so he's going to use this, spend 1. He gets +1 attack and +1 bonus for him moving that turn. So it's +2, which is going to cancel his other 2. So it's just whatever the dice rolls are at this point. So defensive 6 versus an attack of 4, 5, 6. So Miyamoto dodges it again. So he's staying alive this time. Alright, so Spartacus is just going to do this would also rotate it. He's going to get 2 more base attacks. So 10 versus 6, 7, 8. But it's going to get -2 as well. So then 1 less. So that card's really helping him out, keeping him alive. So our last one is a 9. Versus 9, but he gets the -2, and the tie would have mattered. So Spartacus didn't get to do any extra damage this turn. Alright, now it is Miyamoto's turn. Now that I'm playing right. So alright, now his problem again is going to be he can't really move anywhere. He could use his kimono to move, which is going to make the most sense. To get out of Spartacus's range again, make Spartacus waste a turn doing stuff. So he may as well do that, and you have 1 movement point. Now, again, I could say this is the alternate thing. What he could do is he could just straight attack for all 4 turns, all 4 attacks, 1 weapon and 3 regular attacks, which might be not a bad idea because he could potentially do 4, 5, 6, 7 damage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He could, if he hits every time, he could defeat Spartacus this turn. But that's the thing. If he misses even 1 attack, Spartacus can just turn around and take him out. So I think it makes more sense for him to try and move. And at least make Spartacus have to take 1 less attack. So we're going to do that. He's going to jump here. And he's going to attack with his Boken. So there's a +0 on that. So Spartacus gets to roll. He's got a 2, which will up to a 3 with his defense, so he might actually get some damage here. Alright, so we get 2 more damage. Perfect. Alright. So that was our second action, is move, then attack. Third attack, base attack. So it's a 10. Because he gets his 1 extra defense. Versus a 5, 6, 7, 8, and he has +1, which is only 9 versus 10. So if he wouldn't have had the extra defense, that would have helped him. But unfortunately, that's not what happened. Alright, then our last attack. So he's got 3, 4, 5 versus an attack of 6, 7, 8, 9, 12. Alright, so he does 1 more damage. So yeah, so granted, I wouldn't have defeated him with those rolls. That's just what happened. Alright, so now we're back to our final round. So let's see, one person needs to win. So they're at 4 and 5 health. 5 health for Miyamoto, 4 for Spartacus. Ooh, this is fun. So we have double initiatives. So both are 5. So that means Miyamoto gets to go first because it's a higher initiative. So Mushishigo says reveal. Attacking champion gets +1 attack value. He does 1 additional damage to the end of the round. So this is great. He gets to go first. Gets extra bonus for his attacking. Does extra damage. So he has a very good chance of winning this round. Where Chrysis says he has a reroll this champion's defense dice to a 4. So he does have the extra armor, though. So now, not only does he have the extra armor of always having a 4, he also has the +1. But since Miyamoto gets to go first, he doesn't have to move, right? So he doesn't have to spend a point moving. So he has 4 attacks to do. So he's going to spend 1 for his Boking. Defense is that. He's going to change this to a 4, and then he gets his +1 modifier, which ups it to a 5. So he's at 9. Versus 5, which does not win. Does up it to a 6 because of his Musha, but that's still not as much as 9. But now he gets a free base attack. So let's see what his base attack does. So he has a 4. We'll up this to a 4. And then we can up this to a 4 as well for that +1. So he has 8. Defense cards, man. So 6, 7, 8, 9 versus 8. Plus he has the extra 1. So that does 10 versus 8. So he gets +1 extra damage. So he does 2 damage to Spartacus. And that was his second. That wasn't even his. That was his first thing. That was his free base attack for missing his Boking. So he has 3 attacks left to go to do 2 damage. So he only needs to hit him with 1 of these attacks to win. Didn't we see this kind of like a little blowout last time? So defense, we have 5. So up that to a 4. And this will up by 1 more to a 4. So we have 8. Versus 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So he does 2 more damage and he defeats Spartacus. So now we kind of see how that works. Like the first time we're like, oh no, Miyamoto got just waylaid by Spartacus before round 5. But then now here, he was getting beaten down. He was missing all his attacks. And his last one just came through that extra 1 point of damage on each one. Because if he wouldn't have got the extra damage, and he wouldn't have got to go, or he wouldn't have got to go first, that would have made all the difference. Because if he would have had 1 less damage, he would have had 2 attacks left to do 2 extra points of damage, which he could have possibly done, hit both of those attacks. So if he would have missed 1, Spartacus would have turned around and had basically 3 attacks. Actually 4 attacks, because he just spent 1 to move, which could have just rotated him, and done a free basic attack. Then he would have a weapon attack, which should have been 2, and then he had 2 bases. He had 4 attacks, and he would have got 2 extra damage on each one, or extra point there. So he would have 4 attacks right on there, so that wouldn't have made that big of a difference to him. So yeah, very interesting how either one of those can go. So I want to do is I want to introduce, we have some of the other cards here. We have a different champion. We have a Oliver Lezever. We have a Skuld equipment card. We have a Kuhuling champion. We have a Legion Gihon, Arabian, another Boking, Zagog, and a Napoleon Bonaparte. So I'm going to just set some of these up, and we're going to try another game with some different characters, a little bit different stuff, just to see how some of this would work. Alright, for game 3, we're actually going to play as Miyamoto and Spartacus one more time. What I did was I swapped out 1 card in each of their different loadouts. But I set them up how I thought would be a fun way to play them. Now, it's not maybe the best way. Maybe it's not an ideal strategy. I might have to play a few times to see if this idea makes sense. But this is what I thought, like, hey, if I play this card and this card is going to be really cool. I wasn't trying to take into consideration of what my opponent was doing. I was like, if I'm playing this character, I think this is a cool way to play this character. So I kind of wanted to just see how it works. It's just one card different, and instead of playing it the first way where we played weapon, armor, inspiration, special, or the second way where it was completely random, I put it in specific order to see if that makes any difference. So then we're going to go, Spartacus gets to go first. But this is their tiebreaker match, right? So they want to see who's going to win between the two of them. So Spartacus is like, you know what? I've started here both times. I'm going to start here instead. I can still attack. And Miyamoto's like, ooh, I don't like that. He's like, I'm going to start way over here, though. And he has a strategy, right? Because he gets to go first. So he wants to start. He might get to go first. He's not for sure. So he's like, you know what? I'm gonna start there. So it's not too much different, but it might make a difference there. Tip this back down just a bit so we can see that. All right, so let me just see who gets to go first. So up first we have a Boken versus a Kalina, a cutthroat. So we have two different weapons. Alright, so we're gonna go first. So, initiative means Spartacus gets to go first with his 4. So, he obviously needs to get within attack range, so he's gonna have to use 2 spaces, 1, 2. Now, he can stay facing this way and hit him, or he could have moved a 3rd space, but he may as well just sit there and hit him. Now, the thing, though, is his weapon will not hit him from that direction. His weapon needs to be on this side, so this is kind of not good for him, so he has 2 options here, right? He can either move 1 more space and attack with his weapon. I mean, he could rotate, but even if he rotates, yeah, no, he can hit with his weapon because his weapon is in there. So cool. So he's gonna do his 2 moves and rotates. Now he gets to use his weapon, which says if he moves first, he gains +1 attack value for his champion, since he hasn't used his weapon yet. So he's going to use his 3rd ability to attack Miyamoto with a +1. So Miyamoto gets a 5. That is not a good start. Versus a 5. Oh, but he gets that +1, which up to 6. So he does 2 damage to Miyamoto. Alright, but since Miyamoto got hit with a weapon, he gets a free movement. So his thing he wants to do is he may as well just move out of the way, so he doesn't have to take that damage, right? But he can just as easily just move right there. So now Spartacus cannot attack with his last turn. So his options are to move or rotate. So he may as well try and move, right? And since Miyamoto cannot attack in this space here, he may as well spend his 1 to move that way. But he's going to stay that direction so he can at least attack that next turn if he needs to. Alright. So now it's Miyamoto's turn. His base attack, he cannot attack that way. But he can attack with his Boken. But now the difference is you get +1 if he attacks from there. But if he misses, he's not within range to do his base attack. So I think we're going to do is do the smart plays. Move 1 here. Spend 1 to attack with our weapon. So it's shit Spartacus can defend against. He has a 4. He doesn't have his big defense thing out this time. Versus a 10. So he gets to do 2 damage. So we're 2 and 2. So we're staying even. But here's the difference. Miyamoto has 2 more free attacks. 2 more base attacks, I should say, not free. So we got 7 versus 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So he does 1 more damage. And then our last attack, 9 versus 7. But you guys have a +1 on there, so it's still only 8. So he misses for his last one. So not too bad. So we're down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 to 7, so we're keeping even. Alright, what do we got up next? So this is, we added the other Boken, and we added a skull, so you actually see both cards. I did not mean to put these both at the same time. But because it says 2 Boken may be used in the game whenever a champion attacks, it's the same thing. But now we got 2 attack cards. but he's not going to go second to the skull. But what's his skull do? We haven't seen this one yet. Reveal, the champion may rotate. Well, we've revealed he gets to rotate for free. So now he's in his attack range for free. At the start of the champion's turn, if this champion has revealed a one-handed metal or water weapon, complete this card and move up to 1 space. He has not. But since he rotated, which again is considered a movement, his weapon does activate, so he gets that +1. So now Spartacus is to do 4 straight attacks on his champion. Now, here's where the interesting thing is. Does he attack him once? Now, does he attack him once, and then if he hits, he's going to move over here, and then he's in his 0 range? Or does he do his 3 base attacks first, and then attack with his weapon last? Which makes more sense, because in that way, Miyamoto can't move out of the way and have less advantages, because right now he has a +1 for each one of those. So let's do that. So he's going to do his base attack, because you don't have to attack with your weapon first. So we have a 5 defense versus a 4 attack, but he gets a +1, which would be 5. So 5 and 5, Miyamoto wins. Attack 2, we got a defense of 9 versus an attack of 7. So 6 + 1, 7. So still doesn't get one. So Miyamoto's dodging. He's pretty good in this corner. We have an 11 versus a 10, but he has an 11 on there, but he still misses. So now he's going to attack with his weapon last. Oh boy, that's not good. So he has a 4 versus a 7, plus he gets 8, plus he gets 9. Or he gets 9 for moving, so he would have hit anyhow. So he does 2 damage, and now he gets his free movement. He's going to move over here, and I think he's going to stay that direction. Alright, so that was turn number 2. Oh, sorry, that was, not turn number 2, that was just, Spartacus' turn. So now, Miyamoto gets attacked. But now he has both Bokens out, which right now he gets a +1 on each one. But he gets a base attack for each if he's there. So he's going to spend a move to move here and rotate. And then he's going to spend 1 to attack with his first weapon. So Spartacus' defense. He has a 7. Versus a 4. Which would get him nothing extra for the weapon. A 5. But now he's just a free base attack. A 4. Versus a 5, but he has a +1, so he has 6, so he does 1 point of damage. He's going to spend his 3rd point to use his other attack weapon, his other Boken, versus a 9, and a 9, but he does not have a +1 on there, but he beats it with the initiative. So he does 2 damage. So Spartacus is going down pretty quicker. And then his last one is his other base attack. Ooh, 12 versus a 10, but he does have a +1, which is only 11, which is not enough to beat a 12. But he brought him down to 4 health, so it's 4 versus 5. So they're staying pretty darn steady this turn. Alright. Then we reveal number 3. Oh, so I did forget about this. His second thing said, at the start of the champion's turn, it was revealed a one-handed metal or water weapon. He can complete this card to move, but he didn't need to because he got that free rotate. So he can get a free movement every turn now. We have Musha Shigo. So it says attacking champion gets +1 attack and +1 additional damage. So 5 versus 5. So Miyamoto gets to go first. He gets extra stuff, but he has his armor back. So, ooh, interesting. Alright, so Miyamoto is just going to straight up start attacking with his weapons. So we have a defense, which is going to again switch one of these to a 4. And since he does not have he does have a shield out. I forgot about that. Crap, I wasn't paying attention to that. He has a shield out with his skull, so that may have affected one number in there. But that's fine. So this is going to go up to a 5, so we have a 9. He has a 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, but he breaks the tie. So he does 2 damage to Spartacus. He's going to attack with his second weapon. Oh, wait. He does 1 extra damage. So he does 3 damage. Because he also has a +1 on there, so that'd be 10. Crazy. Alright, so Spartacus, so he's going to try and block. That is not good for him. So he's going to get +1 there, +1, so he has 7. Versus 3, then he has 4, so that did not help him at all, but he does get to do a free base attack, which has 4, doesn't help him there, but that puts it up to a 5, so it's 11. Versus a 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 to 11 doesn't hit. Alright, so then Miyamoto is going to start doing his base attacks. That, defense here might help a lot. So we'll just up that to a 5. Alright, so 3, +4, +5. Then he gets the extra thing. He does 1 damage plus an additional 1. So he beat him early. So having that second Botan out made a huge difference for him just because he got the extra free base attack if he missed. And then having that next one right after, that's why I lined it up. So he can attack with his weapon. And then he can... Also, now he has 1 turn. Hopefully, he gets the advantage so he can get the extra bonus. Otherwise, his last one would have been the kimono, which I had on here. It's just more or less a escape. Like, if he needs to get away, he's losing, he can run away. That extra armor did help, but maybe that would have been better to put out earlier. Maybe that should have been the first thing, and it's like to avoid damage while you're setting up everything else. So that his last one I put on here was the Libertas. So allowing him getting extra movement space. So between that and the shield, he had 2 free movements every turn. But just kind of seeing what each one did. Like, this skull was really nice for a weapon. Just gave him the extra move, potentially every turn, which worked really well with his weapon. But again, I could always switch this out for a sword. Instead, I could give him the Boken, and then that way he get a free extra attack. +1 extra attack there. Just a bunch of different options to do for that. So let's start up the game with some different champions and some different cards. Alright, we're going to do one final game. So a couple of new cards in here we kind of showed off, we haven't really looked at. So Napoleon Bonaparte's the only card I printed off that I'm not using. There are a couple other cards that have been revealed I did not print off. Because either I didn't have good artwork of them or just whatever. But we're not going to use Napoleon Bonaparte in this one, but he does have a cool ability I want to look at quick. It says deploy. At the start of each round, place up to 3 unrevealed loadout cards adjacent to this champion as 1 life, 1 damage, 0 defense minions. Spend actions to move them and attack them using champion's base attack grid. So basically at the beginning of the first turn, you can pick 1 to 3 of your cards, or up to 0 to 3 of your cards, and have them, instead of being something else, a weapon or an armor, they can become minions that go on the board and fight for you. So you can put little guys that your opponent has to deal with. So that could be kind of neat, depending on how you play it, what other cards you keep behind you. And you could do like 1 the first turn, then play your second card, then play 1 your third turn. Just pop them all, or you could play all 3 on your first turn and have a little army your opponent has to deal with. Granted, they're maybe easy for them to kill, but they're also ones that they have to then spend extra actions on. But also to note that he only has 5 hit points in that sense instead of the other ones. So not using his ability, if you just play him without using his ability, is really dumb. And as part of the thing is I don't really have a whole lot of previewed cards that really work with this, which is why I did not play this one. So the 2 champions we are going to play as is Kahulahin and Oliver Elizabeth. So both have 10 health and 4. She also has +1 innate defense. That's one thing to keep in mind. Enemies must spend 1 additional action to move out of spaces in this champion's base attack grid. Once per game, if this champion has revealed a cavalry card, move an enemy into a space adjacent to this champion. So I can, once per turn, as long as I have a cavalry revealed, I can pull a guy into my space. In transport initiative, he has 6, so she'll get a place first. And then his abilities are push. When this champion hits with a base attack, move the defender 1 space. Reroll. As long as no enemies are adjacent to the champ, reroll the champion's attack roll. So if I roll bad, I can always re-roll his attack again. So basically, he wants to sit at a distance. He's going to be better if we had ranged weapons, which we don't really have. So he's probably going to focus on doing base attacks for the most part. But we'll kind of see what he gets into with what I picked for him. Because I only have so many options to draw from him. So we're going to start this off. So she's going to start, she's going to be like, well, I want people in my attack range. So I'm going to start in this corner here. Because I have this spot, this spot, and this spot. And then now he gets to play. He's like, that's fine with me. Because I can attack you from right here. So I'm going to drop there. And hopefully I get to go first. Alright, so we got to settle up 10 points. 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10 health there. And 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10 health there. Alright, who is our first initiative cards? We have an Arabian for Coolathon. Special Middle East Mesopotamian Cavalry. She's your cavalry card right away. That's why I plan it. She has 7 initiative. Whenever the champion wins initiative, move 1 space at the start of the champion's turn. Whenever a champion loses initiative, gain 1 base attack value until the end of the round. So I get free movement if I win, and if I don't win, I get extra +1 attack. And he's got the Boking, so he's just got an extra attack to be able to play. Why did I pick this as his weapon if he wants to do base attacks? Because if he misses with it, he at least gets a free base attack. So it's either he hits and does 2 damage, or he does a base attack damage. Anyhow, which is what he wants to be doing. Alright, so she has 7, so she gets to go first. So he gets a free movement point with that, which is really cool. Still not close enough to take him out, but she's a little bit farther. She's been 1 movement to move forward. Doesn't have any other special skills, but now he has to spend 1 extra point to get away from him. So this could be very bad for him, because he really wants to get away. And the thing is, her grid is also here, so he's not just spending 2 points to move here, and then 2 points to move there. So he might not be able to even move away, which means he can't use his base ability. But that's kind of how that lands. I did not kind of strategically plan that way. It's just, that's sort of how that happened. Alright, so she's going to do her first attack. His defense is 7 versus 7. So 7 versus 7, but she has a +1, so that's an 8. So she takes 1 damage. Attack 2. We have a 4 versus a 6, so he's going to take another point of damage. And her third attack is a 9 versus a 6, which could be a 7, so he's not enough to take him out. Awesome, so quick first attack. Alright, so now Oliver gets to go, and he has his Boking, so he may as well attack with that. Because again, if he tries to move, he's going to have to spend multiple movements, and the thing is, where he attacks from, his thing is here and here. He only it's a +1 where he's at, so it's not too bad. He just doesn't get to use his reroll. What he does have, the champion hits with a base attack, push the defender 1 space. So that can help him get out of movement weight. But he's going to try to attack with his Boking first, because he has it. So he's going to attack with 1. Her defense dice are 9, but she gets a +1 auto defense, so we're going to put that up to 10. And then the attack dice are 3, which is not good at all. But now he gets to do a free base attack, right? So her defense there is 6, so I'd be 12, it'd be 13, so he's probably not going to beat a 13. And he sure doesn't. Alright, so he doesn't succeed with that, unfortunately. He's going to do a regular base attack. So she has 6 versus 10 +1 there, so she has 11. So you're going to do 1 damage to her. Also gets to shove her back a space. Now, I think it just says he gets to move her 1 space. So he could push her to the side, too, where she doesn't have an attack. But he can still attack at this space away, so he definitely wants to do that. So now he has 1 more attack he's going to spend. Defense is 4, so it goes up to... This goes up to a 2, so it's 5. versus 4, so he doesn't win. So now he has an option. Does he attack another time, or does he try and move? Well, he has freedom to move. The thing is, if she's not right in front of him, he can't attack. But if he moved here for 1 point, that means she would have to move 1 space here to be able to attack him. So that's not too bad. But if he hits her with another base attack, she just pushed back another space. So you may as well try that. Alright, so we have a defense of 4 versus an attack of 3. Dang it. Dang, we have some bad dice rolling this turn. That's alright, though. Alright, so that's what we have for that round. Alright, on refresh, what do we have in round 2? We have a new card. There's a dog. Asian Armor, Mongol, and Light. 7 initiative will react. When enemy makes a base attack against this champion, +1 defense value until the end of the round. So you can see how this is a very bad combination. Oliver wants to be able to do base attacks, and he wants to stay at a distance. And we have a character that's gaining extra defense, especially against base attacks, and can close the gap. And he has the scold, so he says, reveal he may rotate. He doesn't really want to rotate, but at the start of the champion's turn, if the champion has revealed a one-handed metal or water weapon, complete this card and move up to 1 space. So he gets a free movement if he needs it. But we do have our Arabian here, which also says, whenever champion wins initiative, move 1 space at the start of this turn. So since she won initiative, she gets her free movement back in there. So she gets to do 4 attacks. So good luck, Oliver. Alright. Roll for defense. 6. Against 5, which has +1, which is 6, but he has a higher initiative. Alright, so attack 2. 10. Against 5. Ooh, he's blocking her. 6 versus 4. Should have been 5. And her last one, can she do at least 1 point of damage? 6 against 6, but she has +1, so 7, so she does 1 damage. So hey, she got at least 1 damage out of it, right? Awesome. And then this did say, okay, so at the start of my turn, I could move 1 free space if I would like to. Now again, does it make sense for me? If I could have gotten to this side of her, maybe, but, my only option right now would be 1 free movement here, then spend another movement to get here, so I spent 1 movement point, and then attack this direction into her. She can still attack me from that side, or she can use a rotate on her next turn if she wants. But at least that way, I can't push her away, though. That's the only problem, is I can't push her into the wall. To get her away, she has to spend more movement points. So I could get 3 attack with that, but she'd have to spend 1 point to move, so she'd only have 3 attacks as well. Unless she wins the initiative, then she gets a free movement point. But I can't push her away. Or if I stay right here, I could potentially push her back 2 spaces. If she gets her free movements, 1, she still has to spend 1 point. So either way, she might have to spend a point. But it would at least maybe get me a chance to get away from her. I just wouldn't be able to push her anymore. So I guess the thing is the pushing. But at least it give me the option of potentially moving out of the way. But now here's the thing, though. I did a free movement, and that's kind of how this works. It says, must spend 1 additional action to move out of spaces. So if I have a free move, that wouldn't work anyhow, because I have to spend 1 free move. Let's say it doesn't cost me anything. I have to spend 2 more points. I may as well not move. So I may as well just attack. So we may as well attack with our boating first. So spend that. Roll for defense. She has up to 5. She has 6, because she has her innate defense. But then we also have, this is not a basic attack. enemy makes a base against his champion, get defense till the end of the round. So yeah, not yet. So we may as well not do a base attack first either for that reason. So we have 10. Nice. So we get to do 2 damage to her. So that's super helpful. And it's not a base attack, so I don't get to push her back. Now we're going to try for a base attack. She's going to do this. She's going to use her reaction, though. Till the end of the round, she gets an additional one. She has 2 more, so she has 9. Versus 4. That did not help at all. Defense, she has 8 against my attack of 4. I am doing terrible. And our defense of 4, 6 against, can we at least do 1 point of damage? 3. No, we did terrible that round. Alright, unfortunately that's the dice rolling, right? I can't do much about that. Alright, so then we reactivate everybody. We go to round 3. We have a calling a Cultro. Gain +1 weapon attack as long as this champion is moved this round before attacking with this weapon. Alright, and then we have the Kimono. So he can jump. So this gives me some extra movement abilities to get out of the way. So now since they're both 7. So now this would have been great. Now if she would have won this, she could have used her horse to move again. And she could have just moved and rotated. Got a bunch of extra free attacks and stuff. Which would have been great. But since he has the initiative, he gets to go first. He can use his Kimono to jump. I'm going to assume that an ability like that overrides this. Otherwise, it's going to have to spend 2 action points to jump. Because it's a movement ability. Like, kind of like the skull gave me a free one. So I assume I could get a free move action to 1 spot. And then I could jump for 1 point. Which is how I'm going to have to play that. Because otherwise you have to spend 2 for everyone. That makes her really a beast to play against. If he could keep pushing her away, that would be helpful as well. But so if I moved, which I think this says at the beginning of the round, right? At the start of this turn, if as revealed, complete this card and move up to 1 space. So I'd have to move first. So I could move 1, but then problem is if I move here, where am I gonna jump to? Because I can't jump here. I can only jump here. Which I can still attack with my regular attacks, but I couldn't attack with my base attacks. Which might not be a bad idea either. I'd like to use my bulking for the extra 2 damage. Well, I could, right? So we go this 1 free attack. I'm still within my bulking's range, right? So we'll spend 1 point to attack with bulking. So she's going to roll her defense. She's getting an extra 1, so she has 5. She hasn't gained her other one yet. I got a 3, which would get me a 4, which is not enough to defeat her. Dang it, that sucked. Okay, so that was a waste of an attack, because now I don't get to use that ability anyhow. So she's going to jump with the Kimono. We're going to jump here, and then we're going to spend 2 more points to attack straight forward. I can't move her, but at least it gets me a little bit out of her range for a turn. So our defense is a 5, which goes up to 6 for this, 7 for this, because this will up that. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Sorry, up to 9. 8. But he only has a +0 at that range. So if he would have had 1 more point, or should have had 1 less defense, unfortunately. Alright. So she has a 4. I'm going to put this up to a 3, which has 6. And he did a point of damage to her. Awesome. So 1, 2, 3, 6 to 7. So he's actually winning right now. But that's just for right now, right? Alright, so beginning of her turn, she wants to move. Now, it does say if she lost her initiative, she gains +1 base attack till the end of the round. So she has an additional attack this round. She's going to spend 1 point to move, like this. Spend her second point to use her ability. It says +1 evaluate as long as this weapon has, or as long as they move this turn. So he gets to roll his defense, which is a measly 5, which is not good because she has +2 attack. So she does 2 damage to him. Oops, take it from him. Alright, so then her base attack, 7 against that. So she takes 1 more damage, and he does 1 more. 8 versus 4, 5, 6, but gains a 7, gains an 8. So 8 versus 8, he wins based on the by his experience, his initiative. Alright, ooh, this is getting interesting, because now we're down to 6 versus 4 into the last round. I first started off, I was like, this is going to be a beatdown, but I guess it's a little bit closer than I thought it was. Just to prove, you can't, don't worry about the first turn. Alright, so she's going to get Libertas, which is Inspiration with Gubin. It says combo, you spend 1 to move 1, which works with her weapon. And I make a base attack right away, so that's pretty cool. He, on the other hand, has Legions de Hong. So reveal, move this champion and all allies up to 1 space and gain 1 life. I don't have any other allies, but if you had Napoleon, that would work really great with him. So he gets to move 1 space for free, doesn't have to pay that penalty, gains a life. So now we're at 5 to 6 health, 5 versus 6. Because I had an initiative of 5. She lost the initiative, so she does get 1 extra attack power every turn. So yeah, Oliver just go first. He needs to do as much damage as he can. If he can't defeat her a 6, he needs to do as much as he possibly can. Now the thing is, it'd be nice to use that Boken because it had the 2, but I kind of just feel like I need to just straight up attack her. I could. It wouldn't make a lot of sense. I do have Scold, right? I think what I almost have to do is I have to defeat her. So if I can't defeat her this turn, if Oliver doesn't win, he has to do as much damage as he can to hopefully not go. Because she's going to have extra defense and, and extra attack points. So I think we're going to exhaust Scold to move back a space forward, which is fine. Because I have a +1 here. Boken doesn't have any, but what we can do with Boken then is we can attack with that for 1 point. She's going to roll her defense. She doesn't get a bonus from that. She gets a bonus from her armor, though. She has 5. Come on, roll higher than a 5. Nice. 7. +1, or no, +9. So I exhaust this, so she has 2 damage. So we're at 4 to 5. I have 3 attacks left, right? So there's no possible way that Oliver can defeat Kahula on this turn, because he can only do 3 damage at most. But if I can get her down to 1 HP, he at least has a chance of winning just by having more HP at the end. So we'll see what happens. So 3 attacks, but now these are all basic. So he's going to exhaust this, he's going to gain 2 more, so 1 there, 1 there. So he's up to 4. So 6 is going to be really hard to hit him. So we have 6, but we have a +1 and the initiative, so 7. So we do 1 point of damage, and we can push her back. So at least that gives her 1 less attack during her turn, potentially. It doesn't really, it kind of does. Not really, but we'll see. We have this. This is a 5, which will up this by 2, so I ups that to a 7. Versus a 10. We got 1 more point of damage. And our last attack with Oliver is a 6, 7, 8. Against a 6, 7, 8, but he does have the initiative. So it's 9, so he does 1 more. So Kulan still has 1 life left. Did not get defeated, unfortunately. There wasn't really any other way I could do any more damage. But Now Kulin's turn has to do all 5 damage to me to win. Because if it's a tie, he wins because of the initiative. So, this is what she can do, right? She can use her Libertas, spend 1 point to move 1 space and make a basic attack. Spend 1 point, do this, make a basic attack. She got defense of 3, that is not good at all. Versus 10, so that's 1 damage. Because he also has +1 attack because of this, so that doesn't help. Alright, then, going to use our weapon here. It says we get +1 attack value as long as this weapon champion has moved this round before attacking, which they did. So we're going to get to roll for that one. So 6 versus a 6, but gets +1 for that. So 7 +1 for that is 8. So it does 2 more damage. So she has 2 attacks left. Both are basic, but she has a +2 initiative on each one. 1 for that and 1 for the cavalry horse. So he has 9 versus 6, 7, 8. Does not get it. And there's the last attack. 5 against that, does 1 more damage. They both ended up with 1 health, but Oliver wins because he has that extra initiative. So that was just, again, super lucky because of the dice roll right down to the end. But you can see how close that was, because really, Cullen got the cavalry had the ability to have extra stuff because of the initiative. Again, I didn't even have to use the ability, like, with the cavalry to pull him towards her at 1 point. I definitely could have, once per game. But every time he wasn't enough spaces away that it was an issue for me. On the other hand, instead of giving her kimono, I would have given him, like, that helmet armor. And he had 4 base defense every time. He probably could have survived without any problem. But yeah, it could just easily have been just one thing here. But, so, this is the game. It is really fun. You can see all the different combinations with just a few different cards. Now imagine there are 40 characters, each with 4 different cards, plus 40 other cards that aren't in the mix. So that's a total of, I don't know how many cards. 40 times 4 is 100. Was 200 and I think 30 cards or 40 cards in the entire game. You know, and 40 of them are champions. So like 200 different cards to play as and mix and match. And that's just in the base game. They might add more. They might add some promos and stuff. So a lot of cool stuff you can do with this game. And play around in different aspects. You saw Napoleon just to use some stuff there. Meanings we did have the Wakashi sword from Japan, which would give Miyamoto some extra sword ability because it's a sword and it's also like does some more damage, has a different attack radius, might do some stuff there. Plus he can use that and the Boken. He doesn't have to use 2 Bokens. So yeah, just getting more swords makes him better. More minions, more cavalry makes her get different options. If he gets some guns, or a bow or something, that'd be super helpful for there. And even just looking at this, it's just first turn, second turn, you're doing really bad. Doesn't mean you might not have a comeback. It's a very, very fun game. Hope you guys enjoy it. Check out the Kickstarter. Check out the other video I did with the promos and showing off all the promotions. Although you've seen almost all the cards. See you guys later. Bye.